Bienvenidos a Taboo Talk Latina Edition. Yo soy Cynthia.
And I'm Jeanette. And como siempre, we're here to hold space for the real, raw, and necessary conversations that reflect nuestra cultura, nuestras raíces, and everything we've unlearning and rewriting along the way. Today's guest is a proud Latina, a dedicated nurse, and a content creator who's redefining what it means to show up authentically in scrubs and on social media.
She's Miami born and raised, a pediatric ICU nurse and funny, honest voice behind Café con Scrubs, where she shares what it's really like to be a nurse, Latina, and woman navigating such a demanding field with humor and heart.
Melanie, welcome. We're so excited you say yes.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. I'm excited.
So are we. And let's start by having you share a little bit about your story. What was it like growing up Latina in Miami, choosing nursing as a career, and now balancing life in scrubs with content that makes people laugh, cry, and feel seen?
So being a Latina in Miami is it's amazing. It's fun because like everyone says, Miami is like a melting pot. So you have Latinos from all over the world and you have Hispanics, like so many cultures are embraced here in Miami. So it was very nice. It was fun, but I didn't come to like appreciate where I come from, like where my parents are from. By the way, I'm Cuban American. Until I started making more content and I started seeing people's like genuine curiosity about what is, being a nurse in Miami like. Or, I want to move to Miami and experience that. I want cafecito in the break room. Like they don't experience that up north, not really, unless you have a Latina que is, colando la colada for everybody. But it was great. I wouldn't trade my experience growing up in Miami for anything in the world. I think it's made me who I am today. And although my job is very demanding, it's exhausting. I think that's what makes everyone like identify with me a little more because they know what it's like, especially like the nurses in this area. But it's also fun because everyone's personalities come together, especially like in the Hispanic culture. We have sazon, it's never a boring day in a hospital unit, I'll tell you that.
I could imagine. And what made you choose nursing? Was that something that you just always aspired to be a nurse?
Nursing was really my plan B. I've always been a music nerd. Like I grew up in the arts. I went to New World School of the Arts here in downtown Miami. Like I grew up singing, acting, dancing. So that was always what I loved. But I also grew up in a household where everyone was in the medical field. My dad's an X-ray tech. My mom was a medical assistant. So I was always at their job after school when daycare wasn't available. So it was always something that I grew up with and I grew an appreciation towards. And then when it came time to deciding my major in senior year of high school, everyone used to always tell me, "Oh my God, you make such a good nurse. Like you're so nurturing, you're so caring." And I started opening myself to the idea of that. I started volunteering and I came to realize very quickly that it was something that I really resonated with. And I was like, all right, like I see myself doing this for the rest of my life, especially with kids. I love kids. So that's what I get to do now.
That's beautiful. And I love the fact that it's something that you're also passionate about because I feel like, especialmente como Latinos, we grow up with that mindset, right? That we have to follow
Yeah.
like what our family does or what they tell us that's right for our path. Like find your 9 to 5, graduate, have a degree, right? Retired.
Yes.
But you have a passion for it. Because I know in my family household, they're nurses and they're doctors. But
Really?
that was nothing that ever inspired me. I try and I drop
Yeah.
because it wasn't my passion. So you get influence easily if it's carry on in the family.
Very. I mean, I wanted to add on to what you just said. My dad, he was like, well, why are you going to be a nurse when you can be a doctor? Like, might as well just get the schooling. You know that we came to this country for you to get a degree, that whole, like, literally everything you just said. But when he saw that it was something that I was truly passionate about, that I wasn't so bad at it. And like I would come home and tell him all these stories like me, gracias, no, they're so grateful because of this and that. He's like, okay, like what you do is actually meaningful and there's room to grow too. Like you can grow so much and go so many avenues. Like I know nurse entrepreneurs, I know nurses in law firms. Like there's so many avenues for nursing too, which is also one of the reasons why I went that route. That he was like truly impressed. My brother's also a nurse now. He was
That's
gonna go into
awesome.
med school and then he's like, I want to do nursing. And my dad's like, Concho, no tenemos médico en la familia.
There's always going to be somebody that's going to rescue them in the family gathering.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I know you wear so many hats. You're a nurse, a student, content creator, and Latina. How do you show up with all these identities, right? How do you navigate the pressure of being all of them, especially in the field as demanding as the one you're in?
It hasn't been easy. In the beginning, it was, and it still is fun, right? In the beginning, it was really just fun. And I'm like, I just want to show this on social media. And then I realized, okay, people like it. And then I kept sharing and sharing and sharing. And the more I went to work, actually at work, they called me TikTok.
Can you imagine?
The doctors literally call me, hey, TikTok, what's up?
La influencia.
And like a
The
lot of people,
influencer.
yeah, they're very supportive. And
It's awesome.
it's been really fun in that sense. But also, like, I've also put a lot of pressure on myself because it's like, okay, I'm on social media now. So if there's something that doesn't go right or something happens, like, "La, no va a decir que esto," and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, but she's an influencer." Like, I'm not perfect. So sometimes I have to remind myself, hey, you're just a human. You're a nurse. And like everybody else, like people make mistakes or maybe you don't make the best decisions all the time. And that's okay. So I have to remind myself to not put that load of pressure on me just because I share things on social media.
Yeah. And it could be so heavy on you too, because you deal
Yeah.
with a lot day to day. So I'm glad that you pat yourself in the back, but also you put that reminder so you don't stop
Hmm.
doing because it's very powerful. I'm not a nurse, but I can relate with so many of your content because I'm Hispanic, right?
Yes.
And then
Right.
I live in Miami. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this girl. Like, I love her energy. Like, it makes me want to be a nurse, and I don't like nursing. But it's just crazy, right? So
I
imagine
love that.
you are a nurse, like you're
Yeah.
impacting them and they're feeling seen and that they're being heard and that they're not alone with their struggles day to day. Because it's not like you're
Right.
sharing anything confidential about the patient. And that's never nothing that I've
Right.
come across in your page, which I love. It's just the real
Good.
raw nurse life, which I love. And in your content, you share a lot of behind the scenes moment, like we discussed that nurses experience but rarely talk about. What made you decide to start posting and using your voice in this way?
I wanted to show others that they weren't alone in what they were experiencing at work. And I also wanted to showcase, like, why I'm so proud to be a nurse down south. It's hard. Florida, in general, gets a bad rep when it comes to like patient ratios. So a lot of travel nurses that come down to Florida, they're like, oh my gosh, they give you so many patients, on a specific floor, like med search, for example. I would get 6, 7 patients, which was insane to me. And then I traveled a little bit up north and realized it wasn't the same. So while it did help me because I was so used to the chaos down here, and then I left and I'm like, oh, this is a piece of cake. Like I started in the trenches. I wanted to showcase that. I wanted to share to people like, hey, you're not alone in that. Hey, I get it. It's rough, but here's the fun side of it. Here's a way to make it funny. Here's a way to make things lighthearted. And I think people really resonated with that.
Yeah. And it's also healing for your soul in a
Oh,
way,
yeah.
venting it
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
showing like, okay, I'm not alone either on this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. And I know as Latina, there's a certain cariño, right? And a cultural flavor that, you bring into the work and the videos that you do. So how has your background being raised in a Latino household shape how you care for your patients and you connect with others?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. Like I always say, it's just who I am, but it really is my thanks to my culture and thanks to how my parents raised me. And in school, they teach you not to say "mami" or "mi corazón," yeah, to not use like those little nicknames. But sometimes that's like it just comes out, and it's never taken as disrespectful. If anything, like the person feels more like loved and taken care of. Like it's literally just a part of me, and I've never had a bad experience with that. If anything, especially if, like, it's a Cuban family, they're like, "Ay, ¿de qué parte de Cuba tú eres?"
Yeah. Yes.
I'm like, "No." And then there's, like it changes my dynamic with my patients all the time and always for the better.
Yeah, and I think that's something also here in Miami because I've gone into care, outside and I don't get that same love and care of
Mhm.
"Okay, we'll be right with you, ma'am." And I'm like, ma'am? Like,
Yeah.
the Latino, even to me, my husband, my kids, okay, mi amor, ya yo vengo, te hace falta algo, mi vida, y te pasan la mano. And, other people will take it like, oh, she's too touchy or she's this. But,
Right.
and
No,
obviously, with who, like, it's not like anything out of the,
right.
but I think that going back to our roots, that's very helpful because that to us es como enseñando cariño y amor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It personalizes the experience between you and your patient, especially like in Miami, like majority of the people here are Hispanic. So they appreciate that too. It's not like they're saying, "Oh, it's too touchy," or it's like too much.
100%.
Never.
Yeah. And you feel more like well taken care of, right? Like for me, when I go or like when I take my kids, you just feel more, I don't know, like a piece of home is with you when you have that nurse that kind of has like,
Yeah.
that. So I love it. Yes.
No, it's very powerful. Now, let's talk about that phrase we grew up hearing. I'm sure you ladies have. Calladita te ves más bonita. In
I
healthcare, and it often show us that when we advocate and speak up or question things, that's when it comes up. So, have you experienced moments where you were made to feel like you should shrink yourself?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
all the time. Especially like I've worked with adults before, but now working in pediatrics, that happens a lot more often, especially because you're dealing with the parents who have more of a say over, the patient, which is the child, whether they're a teenager, whether they're a baby. But there's plenty of moments where the doctor will say something and I'm just like, they leave and then I'm there with the patient in the room and I'm looking at the parent like you and I both don't agree with this, or like this is a little bit worse than what they're making it out to be. So then I have to go and step and tell them. And sometimes they look at me like, like, can you just like go back to, your job and like don't. But I don't. I guess that's a Latina in me. I don't stay quiet. I don't stay quiet. And if I have to say something, I'll say it in a respectful way. But at the end of the day, like if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? Sometimes the parents will go and say it themselves. A lot of times they're trying to be respectful and they kind of count. And I'll talk to them. I'll be like, no te preocupes. I'll talk to them. Like they count on you to deliver that message or to advocate for them when
Yes.
they don't know, they don't know medical terms, they don't know specifics that only you know. So I definitely no me quedo calladita. It's not the best. Not everybody likes that,
Yeah, of course.
but I've never been in a position where it hasn't worked out in the favor of the patient for the better good, like in a positive way.
I love
So
that because you're also advocating for them because a lot of parents, like you said, they don't know the medical terms, right? So they don't know
yeah,
how to advocate for their kids. So by you doing that, you in no means are being disrespectful. You're just saying, hey, no, I need to advocate. I need to step in. So I
yeah,
love that. Yes.
yeah,
And one thing I wanted to add, and I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from, I have respect for doctors. I think it's a
yeah,
huge work. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility. They go through it. But nurses, I feel it's the heart of the hospital
Yes.
oh, yeah.
they are always the ones showing up. They're the ones that come before the doctor, but then they also don't get the respect. And I feel that I've been there too, right? Where it's like you're in this situation where it's like you're just a nurse. I need to talk to
Oh,
the
yeah.
doctor, right? And I'm sure you've been there. So how does that make you feel? I
I
know it's
actually made a video about that.
like, what do you mean I'm just a nurse? Like, yeah, un día I remember a nurse next to the room I was in. Somebody told her that, and I'm never gonna forget. And she was venting with someone, and she goes, "Well, I'm here longer than the doctor. I have more experience," but she's not letting the patient know. But
No,
at
yeah.
that moment, I felt that I can relate, even though I'm not a nurse, because I'm like, man, it's so true. Like, you guys are the heart, and they treat you sometimes like there's no respect because you don't have the same degree as the doctor.
I really don't know what it is that gets into people's heads when it comes to that. Like, I sometimes sit with it and I'm just like trying to understand, like, why? Once the doctor walks out of the room, the one who is getting you that cup of ice water is me.
Yeah.
The one that's helping your kid who just threw up, clean himself up, or dale un bañito, like, bathe him, like, that's that's me. You have an issue with the medication. The one who has to go up to the doctor and bring it up is me. Like, I'm a plumber, I'm a server, I play all these hats. All
Yeah.
nurses, we play all these hats. "Oh, the TV is broken." "Yes, ma'am, I'll get maintenance for you." "Oh, the sink doesn't work." "Okay, I'm here." "Oh, there's no paper, there's no toilet paper." "Okay, let me get."
Look at
And
housekeeping.
this is
Yes.
and this is all happening in between, like, very sick patients that you're getting orders. The doctors are telling you, Melanie, I need this. Melanie, I need that. Why is this taking so long? And then you have somebody walking outside the door. I want more water. I want more juice. I want another blanket.
Where's my food at? There's not a restaurant, but okay, it'll be right here.
Yeah.
It's not that I love to say that this is not a hotel. Or I don't like the breakfast today. We have a Starbucks downstairs. We have a Subway across the street.
Yeah. It's like the
You
real Grey's
too.
Anatomy, right? Like the raw and real. I love Grey's Anatomy.
Me too. What's my favorite?
I love it. Like I wanted to be a nurse just because of the show, but I love it because it's so true. Like I see that they deal it's more drama and I get it more like romance
Yeah.
and all of that. But with what your stories, what you showcase, I'm like that looks like a show to me. You should consider
Yes.
Grey's Anatomy with
With
Melanie.
You should do little like
Netflix.
segments. And it's funny that we mentioned
Yeah.
this because I was a doula for like 2, 3 years. And of course, it's nothing similar to being a nurse, but I got that same experience
Of
where
course.
the doctors were ignoring me because they saw me as like, oh, like, who is she, right? She's just like a doula, right? But one of the roles for as a doula is you're advocating for the mom, right? You're
Of
advocating
course.
for them. So a lot of the times the doctors, they were not up to it. So they would just completely ignore me like if I wasn't even in the room. And I got it from doctors, from the nurses. So yeah,
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
know it's a different experience, but I remember when I was doing the doula work, oh, that is no joke. So I give you all the props.
Thank you. I mean, you too, but I honestly like in especially South Florida, we have a lot of Hispanics who were a profession in their country, right? So like a lot of the
Yes.
people that are nurses now, they are doctors from their home country, or they were like another, very well-known profession. So who are we to undermine like I mean, obviously, if the person's coming at you like, oh no, porque yo fui doctora en Cuba, yeah, that's different. But majority of the time, it comes from like a genuine place, like, hey doc, maybe we should do this, or what do you think about that? Honestly, now in the setting that I'm in with the PICU, it's the first time that I could say that I work with doctors who are like, they're in the room doing things for me. They're like, no, Melanie, if you don't have time, let's go. I'll do it for you. No, 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 it's fine. I'll do it. Like, obviously, it's the pediatric setting. There's a lot more women doctors too, so that plays a role too. Majority are Hispanic, but they they're a lot more hands-on and they're a lot more careful with their nurses because they know you love on your nurse, you're gonna have a good shift. Your patient is probably gonna turn out a little bit better. Why? Because that nurse is proud to provide that care that you're requesting of them. They feel valued.
100.
Everyone wants to be valued.
100%, yes. And I know during the pandemic, right, for all of us, it was crazy. So, can you tell us a little bit about your experience during the pandemic?
Well, let's just start with that's the year I became a nurse.
Ooh,
Wow. My gosh.
you didn't need
Girl,
any pressure of it. That it's like, wow, thank you.
And you didn't quit? Okay, like kudos to you.
I remember just like encerrándome en el baño and I was just like looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, is
Why
this
did
what
I
I
chose?
signed up for? Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It was so hard. I graduated January of 2020. I passed my boards around April. Usually like 2 to 3 months after that is when people do it. And then I didn't start at the hospital that I started at till like June. So like the bad COVID was like there, but like almost like dissipating a little bit because from what people tell me, February, March, it was like crazy. But that's when I started training to be a nurse, 6, 7 patients on an adult med surg floor. And the nurse that trained me, which I majority of the stories that I have on my TikTok are thanks to her. So like things that I experienced with her because she's also enfermera en Cuba, is a nurse here for X amount. She just like taught me so much. But I remember one time, and we still talk about it to this day. I broke down and I was like, this is not for me. This is not for me. Esto demasiado. Like, I'm stressed out. I still have to do all this. Like, how are you expected to do all these things as a nurse? And mind you, in the pandemic. So you're gowning on, you're gowning off. The mask, que si, lo gorro. It was, it really made me reconsider my career. But then you also experience so much that you're like, okay, this is why I did this. So you do have those moments in the thick of it. But it wasn't easy. It was not easy. My training time got cut in half because they were so short-staffed. I'm like, "I don't even know what I'm doing half the time, so how are you gonna give me my own weight?" It yeah. But luckily, I made really, really good friends that I still hang out with to this day, and that was, like, 5 years ago. So, while it wasn't easy, I took a lot of positive from it.
You push through, and I
Yeah,
feel
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
what breaks us, right, or makes us. Because you could have
Mhm.
simply just quit and be like, "This is not for me," or "I'll follow up in 2 years
Yeah.
when the pandemic gets over." But also, it's things like that. You're being raw and real because when you go to school, you are practicing. At least I see some of my friends, nurses, with dolls and all these
Yeah.
stories that you tell yourself. So now, when you're in action, that you're really doing the paperwork, you're doing the check-ins, you're
Yeah.
back and forth. Like that's when life happens, and that's when you're like, "Okay, do I really love this?"
Yeah, it was definitely a reality check, and a lot of nurses left when the pandemic hit because, they have families, they didn't wanna get sick, everybody was afraid, nobody knew what was going on, truly, and I got to witness that in the hospital, like, with the doctors, with the nurses, like, we're making plans for these patients, but in reality, we're just, like, trying to troubleshoot something that we have no idea
Yeah.
it is, like, what it is, but definitely a big reality check. I'm glad I stuck through. I'm glad I stuck through and I could talk about it now.
I
Yeah,
was just gonna say, I'm glad you did, yes.
but for a new nurse to experience that, I don't wish that on any.
And I know as Latinas, especially, there's like this unspoken rule, right? Like to be respectful, not make noise, like how we spoke about earlier, not to rock the boat, especially in the professional setting that you're in. So, have you challenged that in your own ways?
Definitely. Growing up, my dad said I should have been a lawyer because I never keep my mouth shut.
You'll be a good lawyer too. I
But he's like, "You should have gone into that because you really never keep your mouth shut." And while I am respectful, I'm actually not this like crazy outgoing person as like I'm portraying on social media. Sometimes I'm like just very quiet to myself. It's just who I am and I can't help it. It's been ingrained in me like to stand up for myself, to stand up for others. So it'd be really hard for me to like keep my mouth shut and, like, not say anything, especially when you work with other people who are like-minded as well, and they just care so much about their patients, like, I'm talking about, like, the nursing setting, like, we just care so much about our patients, like, we can't be calladita, and honestly, it just makes our day even better involving our patients, telling our patients if they can have it. "You want cafecito?" This and that, like, it's just a part of who I am as a Latina, really.
and I love that you embrace that because I feel
Yeah.
like, especially as I'm also Cuban American, nuestras raíces kind of disappear on the way, and it
Mhm.
depends on if you bring it with you or not. Not that we have to follow
Yeah.
things, but certain things we don't bring along because we're scared, like the workplace. No, porque they have something against los Latino or the Hispanic.
Mhm.
Always, especially here in Miami, and I know you can feel that tension sometimes. So I feel like when we speak, it's like, no, calladita, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's huge in nursing, and I can see it even when I walk through the emergency room. Like, it's more of like who's not Latina that stands up because they think they own, and then the Latina tries to reserve o se queda calladita, and then you hear them like in a little corner. And then I can, because I know I'm Latina and I my roots, but it's sad, right? So I'm glad that you're embracing that and that you're
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I hope people really, like, feel confident enough to embrace that because why not? Like, use your voice.
100%, yes. And of course, where did your love for coffee come from? Because I know you have your name, Café con Scrub, which I love, by the way.
yes, me too.
Thank you. I didn't like coffee until nursing school.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes, it wasn't until I started working. I had this part-time job at a doctor's office, and then I had just started nursing school, and they were doing coladita, like colada shots.
Qué rico.
Colada, super rico. But at principio, I was like, I know, porque I liked the smell of coffee. Hasta que I forgot who made it, that I just loved it, and I felt the kick that it gives you, that it's literally like crack, and I just couldn't live without it, and I found myself like then I had a friend who showed me the cortadito. She took me like cortadito. I always remember differentiating it from the colada porque es cortado con leche. Stuck with me, never forgot a cortadito ever again. So then I started getting like 2 cortaditos a day. Like it just became a thing. And then at home, obviously, it's on falla. When we go on trips, like my mom brings her a little electric cafetera and the coffee and the sugar. Like it's now ingrained in me. But yeah, I didn't grow up like I feel like a lot of Hispanics or Latinas, they grew up with it desde chiquitico, you know?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say,
So
"Oh, since 5."
no, no, no.
Because that's such a Latina thing. I remember my mother-in-law, like, giving my kids coffee when they were, like, 6, 7, and I'm like, "Please don't do that." And she's like, "Oh, eso no es nada, like, I was drinking coffee when I was, like, 5." I'm like, "No, please
And
don't
there were
do that."
different times too. Like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
It's with more caffeine.
Yeah,
But it's true. They have it since I go to my family gathering and it's crazy. They start from like 7 in the morning, then before lunch, after lunch, and then a midday, and then in
yep,
between the cafe con leche, which I was gonna ask you.
yes,
The cafe con leche, but it has to be made like specifically somebody that knows because if not,
yeah.
you add your own sugar. You're like, it's not the same.
It's really not the same. And in my first nursing job, I mean, I gained so much weight because of this, but I was having a café con leche with una tostada every morning
Oh,
for breakfast and then
Yeah.
dipping it in the
Yes,
café con leche.
yes.
that's the best way to have it.
I was just gonna say, yes, you have to
Oh, it
dip
was
it.
so good.
Like
Until one day my mom's like, tiene que dejar el pan. I'm like, okay, yeah.
And I saw you also have a shirt, or is that just something that you were promoting? Something
So
about
that's something I'm working on. I've been working on, honestly, truthfully, because of school. I'm so close to the finish line. I really have to like just grind. But that was like a little preview of something that I've been wanting to put out. Miami inspired, coffee, everything that's like represented in my page. So hopefully, God willing, I finish school soon. I should be finishing school during the summer and I can put that out there. But yeah, that was like a little, and a lot of people liked it. And I always tell
Yeah.
myself, like, I would want to wear something like that. I have some little samples that I printed out a bunch. My brother's always wearing the shirt. My brother's like very picky, he's young, hip, and he loves it. So I'm so excited for people to wear them.
yeah, keep us posted. I would love.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
wait. Yeah. And what has been one of your, like, best collabs that you have done?
With Simple Nursing, they're very big in the nursing world. I use them to study for my nursing school exams and my boards. So collaborating with them, we collaborated. Like I was like sharing content for them for like 2 years, 3 years. And we still collaborate every now and then. We'll be releasing a podcast episode soon together with Nurse Mike. So I'm excited for that to come out.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Is that the one with the pill lipstick?
No, so that's the Aspie too. That's another collaboration that I truly
That's the one that
love.
we've seen that I'm like,
Yeah, that's the one I loved. I was like, "I want the lipstick for me." I'm not a nurse, but I want it for
They're
me.
beautiful. They're
Yes.
beautiful. And it's so cute because they're shaped like a little pillow. So they're super compact. They fit anywhere. But no, we shot so much content for their summer line. They're releasing more lip glosses like with glitter and more products as well that I don't know if they've put out there yet, so I want to say it yet. But that was really cool too. And it was created by a healthcare worker.
that's and I love
So
seeing you in collaboration with things that it's within your field, because
Yes.
yeah,
creation that you never know really nowadays where it can take you. And I
yeah, you really don't.
love hobby, just your free time, but seeing you actually in collaboration with brands that mean something to you is not just I'm just gonna do it just to grow my page. That's impactful.
Yeah.
What I love seeing in your page as well.
I heard a quote recently that said, "If it's not you," it was from a content creator who's like, she has like millions of followers, right? But she says, like, if it's not you, don't share it. If it's not you, if you don't feel comfortable and it doesn't represent you, like, don't collaborate with it. Don't like just post it. And everyone's done that at some point, right? But
Right.
it just doesn't feel the same. And people can sense that. They can sense when it's not genuine. They can sense when it's fabricated. And everyone's trying to sell something nowadays, right? So I do try to like stay with brands that not only have helped me personally, but that I know would make an impact and like helping small businesses as well, especially like in the healthcare field. I love that as well. So yeah, I'm glad you noticed that because like I really want to do that.
But yeah, you're doing one hell of a job. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks.
And what advice would you give to the younger Latina nurse or women in any workplace who's still trying to find her voice?
Just put yourself out there. Put yourself out there as someone who like I may give off this vibe or feeling that I'm like always like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But not really. Like I'm pretty reserved a lot of the time. And a lot of the situations that I've been placed in now, or like all the opportunities that I've had now, thanks to my career, thanks to my content, has been because like I had faith and like I took a step out of my comfort zone and tried it out. If you don't like it, there's another option for you. There's another opportunity for you. So I always tell my friends, nursing students that I precept at work, like, just put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to expose yourself because the worst thing that could happen is you gained more insight about something that maybe you're not interested in, but now you know.
Yeah.
Or you're afraid of pursuing nursing. Look how many people have pursued nursing. I have friends who have a whole family to provide for, two jobs, working two jobs. Like, if other people can do it, you can do it.
That's
I
beautiful.
love that.
And
That's
I feel like
powerful.
the nursing, it's like real estate in Miami, right? It's like
Yes.
everybody's a nurse, everybody's in real estate. So I love that you share that because sometimes you're like, I want to be a realtor, I want to do nursing, but everybody's doing it. But there's going to be that one thing that's going to stand you out because we're all different and we all care
Yes.
differently. We all teach differently. So that was an important reminder for any workplace because I feel like everything is so demanding, especially here in Miami. So we're always
Yeah.
questioning our worth or like our next move.
Yep,
Yeah,
as everything is so oversaturated, but people are still doing it and being successful at it, so why not you? That what I say.
I love that. And what taboo are you still trying to break as a Latina in your workplace?
What taboo? Ooh, that's a tricky one. I'm not sure. I might have to give that one a thought. A taboo in my workplace. I no sé.
I'll watch you tomorrow when you go back to work.
I know.
Yes, that's always how it happens.
There's so
I
many.
Hey,
love that. Yeah, I was just gonna say there's so many, right?
I'm
we're always
yeah,
trying to break like taboos. Like one we always like preach and talk about, which we spoke with you, is calladita te ves más bonita, right? And to
right,
you, you're like, no, like I'm not gonna stay quiet. I'm not staying
exactly.
silent. I'm gonna speak up and take up space, right? So there's just so many taboos that without even knowing it, right, we are breaking, right? For me,
Yeah,
for me, that's one that I see you breaking every day in your work field because you're not staying silent, you're speaking up.
for sure, for sure. Oh man, I hate that I didn't have an answer for that one.
No, you're fine.
That's what makes
And
us
I'm sure
draw and
there's
be
so
here.
many. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Watch, I'm
Yeah.
gonna send you a whole list after
Yeah, I
this.
know.
I'll add it to the show notes. Insert. I love that. Oh my God, Melanie, thank you so much. You've dropped so much gold and so much knowledge. And of course, we cannot let you go with our last segment of the day, La Tia Chismosa. So, what would your Tia Chismosa say about the woman you've become today?
She's always actually texting me because she lives with my family. She lives with my family for 2 years now. She's like, ay, mi niña, tan trabajadora, siempre estudiando. Anytime she's like, May, ¿tú trabajas hoy? Sí, tía trabajo. Ay, mira cómo tú trabajas, siempre estás trabajando, siempre estás estudiando, que si la escuela, que si tú no paras, tú no. She's like so proud. She's so proud of me.
That's beautiful. And you said it just like como ella lo va a decir, como ella lo. I love it because that's us in Hispanic, right? Cuando we mimic our families.
Yeah, yeah. I have to throw the accent in there. Lo gesto is yeah. It's not the same.
I love it. Is that, by the way, is that your aunt that I think you posted dancing to Bad Bunny? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, she has flow. I
Ella
love
sí,
it.
sí. She is so funny. Like if I could have like a camera just filming her at all times, she never stops. There's never like a dull moment with her. And that's just who she is too. Like which I love too. It's not fabricated. It's literally just her. And I have followers asking me all the time, Oye, la tía, we haven't seen tía content here. Like we're tía fans. I'm like, tía, te voy a abrir un YouTube. and make money off of you because people want to see you.
My God. I love it. And of course, is there any projects or just any way that our audience can connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Cafe con Scrubs on Instagram and TikTok. I share a little bit more on TikTok just because I don't know, it just happens every now and then. But I'm working on the t-shirts and I'll be releasing soon. Hopefully, I'll be a nurse practitioner by the end of the year. So I'm working on that. I'm just trying to grow my career and seeing where it takes me.
You're doing an amazing job, Melanie. Thank you for
Thank you.
showing us what it means to lead with humor, heart, and purpose, especially in a world that often asks to be silent. We're so grateful for your voice, your healing work as a nurse, and your presence online that helps so many people feel seen and celebrated. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you so
guys.
much. Yes. And of course, to our listeners, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Y como siempre, chicas, we'll see you next time on Taboo Talk Latina Edition, where we keep breaking cycles, breaking silence, and breaking those taboos.